Picture this, a family dinner. Gloria has cooked a full traditional Colombian meal to honour her late grandmother. Cameron is moved by the toast, turns to Mitchell and goes in for a kiss. Mitchell doesn't just lean away. He recoils so hard, he practically launches Cameron over the back of the sofa. Cameron lands in a pile of chips. The whole family laughs. And the show laughed too, because that's what Mitchell was on Modern Family. The uptight one, the neurotic one, the one who high-fived his partner at midnight on New Year's evening because, as Cameron once noted, gays don't high-five, which, for the record, also gays don't high-five. But here's what the show eventually told us about that flinch. Mitchell hadn't been kissed by his own father since he was 12 years old. Not a quirk, not a punchline. A 12-year-old boy who stopped being touched with affection and spent the next 30 years quietly reorganizing his entire personality around that absence. So here's the question I want to sit with for the next few minutes. How does someone spend 40 years waiting for the kind of love that should never have required waiting in the first place? Start at the beginning, not the coming out, not Cameron. Much earlier, Mitchell Pritchett grows up as the second child of Jay Pritchett, a self-made man, a cigar, a golf club, an old-school patriarch who built a business from nothing and expressed love the only way his generation knew how, by providing, not by feeling. And from almost the start, Mitchell was the wrong shape for that mould. When he was 9, Jay sent him to theatre camp. Mitchell hated it. Jay let him stay anyway, to toughen him up. When Mitchell was 10, Jay offered to teach him self-defense. Mitchell quit and told his father he could learn everything he needed from West Side Story. You can almost hear the silence that followed that sentence. Now hold on, because this is actually funny, in the way that Mitchell's whole childhood was funny. A 10-year-old boy responding to a boxing lesson offer with a reference to a 1957 musical. The kid had taste. The kid had flair. And absolutely zero self-preservation instincts when it came to Jay Pritchett. Most fans read this as Jay being too hard on a sensitive kid, and that's true. But here's the question almost nobody asks. Why didn't Mitchell push back? Why didn't he argue? Why did he quietly become something Jay didn't know how to hold? The show drops this detail so casually you'd miss it entirely. The closest Jay's own father ever got to showing him affection was a kiss on the back of the head. By accident, because he mistook Jay for his sister. That's it. That's the entire inheritance. One accidental, misdirected kiss. That became the template for how Jay raised his children. So what Jay gave Mitchell wasn't coldness by choice. It was coldness by design, the only design he'd ever been handed. But here's the thing about inherited wounds. The person receiving them doesn't get to hear the origin story. They just experience the wound. And Mitchell experienced it over and over again. He came out to his father. Jay didn't take it well. So Mitchell came out again. Jay still struggled. So Mitchell came out a third time. The same son, the same truth. 3 separate occasions where he had to reintroduce himself to his own father and hope that this time it would land differently. 3 times. Now hold that against Cameron for a second. Cameron Tucker grew up on a farm in Missouri. His parents knew he was gay. They knew from the beginning. Cameron once said he came out of the womb, opening his arms and announcing himself. No hiding, no rehearsing, no 3 attempts at being seen. And here's what that does to a person, over time. Cameron's expressiveness, the drama, the theatre, and the enormous emotional footprint he takes up in every room that's not just personality. That's what an adult looks like when they were never taught to make themselves smaller. Mitchell's flinching isn't just personality, either. It's what an adult looks like when love was always conditional on something he couldn't quite become. Cameron walked into Mitchell's life from a world where love didn't require negotiation. Mitchell came from a world where it required everything. Now, here's where the pattern starts to get genuinely uncomfortable. Season 1. An episode called 15%. Jay introduces Cameron at a bar as a friend of my son's. Not his partner, not his boyfriend. A friend. Cameron is hurt. Mitchell is furious. But here's what Mitchell doesn't do. He doesn't sit down with Jay and say, "Dad, that hurt. You erased my relationship. I need you to do better." He doesn't say any of that. Instead, he concocts an elaborate scheme. He tells Jay that one of Jay's oldest friends, Shorty, might be gay. Jay panics. Jay goes to great emotional lengths to reach out, to offer support, to become vulnerable in a way he rarely allows himself to be. And then it turns out Shorty isn't gay. Mitchell invented the whole thing. The entire emotional experience was engineered, built from scratch. And when Jay confronts him, furious, Mitchell doesn't apologize. He tells Jay he's proud of him, not hurt, not angry, proud, because the lesson landed. Mitchell never asked Jay for love. He engineered opportunities for Jay to discover it, and honestly, that bothered me more than I expected when I finally saw it clearly, because he wasn't avoiding confrontation. He was avoiding rejection. Those are not the same thing. Confrontation is a risk, rejection is a verdict, and Mitchell had already received that verdict enough times that he'd stopped putting himself in a position to receive it again. So he built experiences instead of asking for things. He made room for Jay to arrive at the right answer on his own. That is not a communication style. That is a survival strategy. Now, there's a moment about halfway through the series, and I want you to go back to it if you remember it, where the show accidentally reveals something it may not have meant to. An old answering machine. Haley, Alex, and Luke find it, and on it a message from Mitchell recorded years before the show even started. He's calling Phil to comfort him, because Jay had just reacted badly to the news of Claire's pregnancy. And young Mitchell, in this message, says Jay will either come around or it'll be his loss. No anger, no bitterness, just steady, quiet management of his father's emotional limitations. He had been doing this before the cameras arrived, before the arc, before 11 seasons of Jay's slow growth. Mitchell had already accepted the role. He'd made room in his life for his father's limitations and called it strength. But hold that thought, because the most devastating version of this pattern comes in season 5. Cam and Mitchell are planning their wedding. Over budget, Jay finds out. And he suggests maybe they should scale back. Mitchell asks, "If this was Claire's wedding, would you be saying this?" Jay fumbles. And then he says something he cannot take back. He admits his friends wouldn't feel comfortable at a big gay wedding. He admits the whole thing is weird to him. He doesn't understand why they even need to get married. And then Jay looks at his son and says, "Why do you get to be you, but I don't get to be me? I didn't choose to be uncomfortable. I was born this way," a gay anthem. Thrown at his own gay son. About his son's wedding, Mitchell doesn't fight it. He doesn't defend the wedding. He doesn't defend himself. He simply removes himself from the conversation. He has made room so many times that by now, it's automatic. Then quietly, "Fine. If it makes you that uncomfortable, you don't have to come." And he leaves. Most fans felt the hurt in that scene, but underneath the hurt is something harder to sit with. Mitchell, in that moment, did what Mitchell always does. He made room. He had been practicing that move since he was 9 years old at a theatre camp. He hated. Most people look at Jay's journey across this show and call it beautiful. And it is. Jay starts closed off. Jay learns. Jay eventually walks Mitchell down the aisle. Heartwarming television. But here's the question that doesn't go away. While we were watching Jay grow, Mitchell was the one doing the waiting. And here's the part that gets genuinely complicated. Jay taught Mitchell that love arrives slowly. You have to wait for it, that you have to engineer it, manage it, make room for it to find its own way to you. Cameron taught Mitchell the opposite, that love doesn't have to be negotiated, that it can just arrive. And then there's Lily, who Mitchell adopted, who Mitchell raised, who Mitchell loved, without making her wait for it, without asking her to come out 3 times, without needing her to engineer anything. 3 generations, 3 different versions of what love looks like when it's handed down. And somewhere in the middle, Mitchell Pritchett, who spent his whole life learning the wrong lesson first, and then very slowly, very quietly, unlearning it. The wedding did happen. In the end, Jay came back. He offered his country club as the venue. He walked Mitchell down the aisle, and it was genuinely moving. But hold this for just one more second. The wedding almost happened without Jay in it. The only reason it didn't is because Jay eventually decided he could handle it. Mitchell had decided decades ago. He decided the first time he came out. And the second, and the third. He had made room for this moment long before Jay arrived in it. So when Jay finally walked Mitchell down that aisle, think about what you're actually watching. A man who had trained his whole body to take up less space, who had spent 30 years making room for Jay's discomfort, for Jay's slow growth, for Jay's timeline, for Jay's friends who wouldn't feel comfortable, and for Jay's version of love, which arrived in small increments and required Mitchell to be grateful for everyone, walking down an aisle toward the one person in his life who had never asked him to make room at all, and doing it with his father's hand on his arm, which is either the resolution this story deserved or the most elegant version of the same thing Mitchell had been doing his entire life, making room even here, even now, even at the finish line. Mitchell spent 40 years waiting for the kind of love that should never have required waiting in the first place. Maybe that's why he flinched. Not because Cameron kissed him. Because somewhere inside him, a 12-year-old boy still wasn't expecting anyone to. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to go deeper on modern family characters, there are more of these waiting.